But the theme I'm seeing is it takes a village.
It takes a village.
It takes a village, and I see it more than ever because it's like you said. If it's just the two parents or just one parent trying to work with 1, 2, 3 kids, that's really hard because now they're only listening to you for everything. If they're not hearing any other like adult or mentorship type of advice, that's hard. But when you have 6, 7, 8 adults all being a positive influence on a kid, I think that's just the sheer number.
Right.
The kid's gonna get more out of that.
Alex.
Freddy.
What's up, bro?
The big cheese.
New Age Hoops.
That's me.
Alex, how do you pronounce your last name?
Bernhard.
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 Like Bernhard.
Yeah, like burn hard.
All right, Alex Bernhard. Is that how you pronounce it?
Mm-hmm. I
Bernhard.
got Bernard my whole life.
Bernard, yeah, that's what I would think.
And I'm just like, but there's an H there.
Still Bernard.
But yeah, Bernhard.
Yeah, because fucking, English is silent everything.
That's true.
Like
It's a German.
phone.
It's a very German name. That's
Or a
true.
knife.
That's a good point.
Knives. Silent K's.
Silent K, silent H, but pronounce the H. Bernhard.
Bernhard. Alex Bernhard. He's freaking hardcore. So we met, I don't know, how long ago now?
2018?
2018?
You think? 2018, 2019?
Before COVID.
Yeah, definitely pre-COVID.
And when was the camp? Was it 2020 or 2019?
It was going to be 2020.
So 2019.
It was going to be June. Yep, it was going to be June of 2020.
2019. I met you at a networking event.
Yep, PAC.
And you were known for being really good at basketball.
Yeah.
That's what I was told.
I mean, I like that. That's what was told. But I would say more being good at working with kids in basketball.
Well, now you are.
Now I'm way better now
Right.
as a basketball player than I was when I was younger and when I was in college, because of all the information I've learned that now I'm applying to the kids. It's the stuff that I wish I was taught growing up.
Right.
Because I grew up in Brandywine, like right next to Kutztown.
Yeah.
Not a big basketball area.
Really?
Yeah, so like I was one of the better players. I thought I was good. And then when I went to college and kind of saw what real basketball was like, I didn't realize, it was a very eye-opening experience for me.
Where'd you go to college?
Centenary in New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Probably never heard of it.
No.
It's a big equestrian school.
So you went for basketball at a equestrian school.
Yeah, I mean,
Who wouldn't do that, right?
Makes sense, right? It was one of my few options. I only had 3 choices, really, coming out of high school. I got recruited because I went to a Christian school my senior year. So I got recruited by a Christian school, a school that was like $55,000 a year. So that was out. And then the Centenary School.
What was the Christian school?
It's now called Cairn. It was Philly Bible University. Now it's Cairn University. But it was one of those things you had to take on Bible as a major. So if you wanted to do marketing, you had to do Bible and marketing. And, I didn't really grow up with a religious background. It was more how I ended up at that school was through basketball, the Christian school my senior year.
Right.
So that wasn't really an option at the time. Something I was thinking about.
Who wanted 55?
What'd you say?
Who wanted 55 a year?
Oh, was that Bard? Bard University, somewhere in like upstate New York.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that.
All right.
I'm gonna have to look that up. But I think it was Bard University.
Yeah. You did 4 years at Centenary?
5.
What happened? You failed?
No, so like part of the reason I've had, like I say, success in my life is because I was very naive and very just like stubborn in a way. So like when I set my mind on something, I'm like, I'm going to do this, even if it doesn't look possible or anything, I'm going to set my mind on it. So I was determined to play like college basketball. And my first year I got cut. And after that I made the team, had a new coach, didn't play that year. Next year came back, got another new coach. So I was 3 years in, 3 coaches. Played a little bit, I believe. And it was in that 3rd year, which was my senior year of school, I tore my groin.
No.
And I didn't want to, like I knew I had that extra year of eligibility. I didn't care anything about how much extra money it was going to cost. All my mind was set on is I want to play college basketball. So I took a whole year off, went back. So it took me 6 years to do 5.
Okay.
So I started 2010, finished 2016.
Right on. What'd you get your degree in?
Business administration, marketing, sport management, sport management, marketing, social media marketing. And there was one more in there. I was there for 5 years, so I got every one you could get. I got every concentration in business you could get, I got.
Oh, shit. So why do you come to me, bro?
Why'd I come to you?
Yeah, why do you come to me if you get all this training?
Because, again, I told you I went to college for basketball. So I'm sure they taught me some good stuff in class, but I more was just making sure I got good enough grades to be eligible and get by. So it wasn't, I felt like when I graduated college, I read the book, How to Win Friends, Influence People. I feel like I learned more in that book than I did in 5 years of college.
I believe that.
I really do. And I think most of it really was because of the information in the book. And it was a combination of what was in the book and how serious I took college. Because I'm sure there's, like I said, I'm sure there was some good stuff. I'm sure I could have learned some things.
Yeah, well, I realized, through my own children, through my own experience. I mean, like I was telling just the last podcast, Annabelle, we was just talking how, like, unless you're a lawyer or a doctor, I mean, do you even need to go to school?
Not at all.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's one of the biggest shifts that's happening in society. I know, so I was 2010. It was just, that's what you did. Like,
Right.
where are you going to school? It wasn't like, hey, are you going to college? It was always, where are you going to school? And I think now more than ever, it's like you said, if you're going to go if you know you want to be a doctor, you know you want to be a lawyer, an accountant, I'm sure there's a couple other that you really need that degree. That's awesome. But now I'll tell kids if they ask me advice, the only thing you're guaranteeing yourself is debt. So if you're just going in, like, I'm going to go in undecided, I don't really know what I want to do. All right, that's fine. But you're guaranteeing probably 15 to 20 grand of debt.
And that's
that decision.
That's a low estimate, in my opinion. 15 to 20 grand of debt.
Yep.
Now it's stupid.
Yeah, because even the ones I think that were cheaper, like the Temples and the Penn States, I think they're even going up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, my kid went to Penn State and still costs a lot of money.
But do you feel like she got like value out of that? Because Penn State is one of those ones that, like, I have a friend that went there, and the job he's got now, he literally got because he went to Penn State. Like, he said the guy that did the interview with, he's like, as soon as I saw Penn State on your resume, he's like, unless you were just horrible, you had the job. So I feel like there is value in some of these bigger schools that have like the networking aspect.
I think you're absolutely right. I think, but what's funny though is you bring up networking because he got the gig because he went to Penn State because essentially he was in an interview. But take Penn State off that resume, So like, yeah, maybe
what
it
was
helped
making him stand out,
right? But he's also one of probably like a rare case though,
right?
But networking, I mean, shit, I'll say it till the day I die. Networking is why I even have a business that's successful in Berks County. It's who you know, not what you know. Like 9 times out of 10, that's a given. I mean, a lot of my best gigs in Berks County came because people recommended me.
Yep. I heard here's something I learned in college. It was one of my professors that I liked. He said, "Is Mr. J, it's what you know. No, it's who you know that gets you in the door, but it's what you know that keeps you there."
Oh, absolutely.
Because if someone like recommended me to you and then you were just horrible at websites, maybe we wouldn't have stayed and worked together. Or if I couldn't actually teach a kid how to dribble and someone's like, hey, you should go to Alex, and then they were trained with me for 3 months and the kid still can't dribble. So, but I do agree, you got to know people and you got to network. And I think that was one of the biggest things I did well out of college was going to those pack events, standing up, getting out of my comfort zone, introducing myself. So,
yeah, you have to do that. I mean, college is cool. I mean, did my kid get something out of it?
Did you go?
I don't know. I went to college, yeah.
Okay, where at?
4 years. This little place called Five Towns College in Dix Hills, New York.
Okay.
I went there because they offered courses on how to make albums.
Okay.
So, like, I went to school for audio.
Okay.
So I learned how to make albums with 2-inch tape. Before Pro Tools was huge. Now Pro Tools is huge. Nobody knows what tape is. But I was still doing recordings on these big, tapes. But that wasn't a major.
Okay.
I had to pick a major, so my major was business management. So I took it. In like your case, I guess I learned something.
Right.
But it's funny because I went there for business and I learned how to make albums, and now I own a marketing agency. That's what my job is.
Right.
So did I really need to go to college? No, not at all. Do I regret it? No, because I met some really cool people there. So from a social aspect, I loved it. Because one of my best friends is my buddy Justin. Still talk to that kid, and I met him walking around college one day.
Nice.
So,
small school?
Super small.
Okay.
It's crazy that the claim to fame for that place is Prince Paul. Did some classes there. Adam Levine went to school there, and dudes from the Strokes went to school there.
Okay.
While I was there, Prince Paul was earlier than me.
Okay.
But when I was there, Levine was there, and the Strokes were there.
That's pretty cool.
But I didn't know them as the Maroon 5 guy.
Right.
And like this huge band is going to be, enormous. Like that was before stardom. So, but it was a music school on Long Island. It was more performance,
Okay.
arts based, but it was just for me. I was like, I just want to learn how to make albums, and I was lucky enough that I could drive there from my house at the time.
Okay.
It was like 20 minutes, so I got lucky. But it was cool. It's not for everybody.
I feel like the biggest thing you said is that you don't regret it, because even if you go back and be like, oh, I wouldn't have done that again, I feel like there's no point in living in like, oh, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think college is one of my damn, I shouldn't have done that moments.
You have other ones that trump it?
Of course, man. And that's just maybe because part of it's because it only cost me 36 grand for 4 years.
Okay.
You know, but obviously for bearing it and being stupid, not paying it right away, it took me a lot longer to pay it off. But I mean, we're talking 1996 to 2000.
Okay.
You know, that's when I went to college. That's how old I am.
Dating yourself.
So whatever. Oh, it's all good. So you get out of college. Did you do New Age hoops right away out of college?
Right away. So remember I said I took that year off to
Yeah.
like kind of try to heal my groin? It was in 2012, so I would say 2 years into college. I started working with Joe Linderman and Steve Dallas. They had a business called BBA. It was Berks Basketball Association. So it was for me to train. They trained me, but I was like the oldest kid they had. So after like a week or two of me doing the high school groups, they said, hey, do you want to stay after? And this is going to be a long answer to that question, but I'll make it short. Do you want to stay after and help with the younger kids? And we'll just train you for free. And I was like, well, that sounds like a good deal. So I did that. And I basically did that with them all the way up until the rest of my college. So I always trained and then helped out. And it was in that year off where I kind of tried to convince Joe. I was like, Joe, this could be big. Like we could expand BBA. It could be a full-time job. We could really make it big. And he kind of liked the idea of it. But they really had a good niche what they were doing. They had 3 sessions they did every year. There were 6-week sessions, one in the summer, one in the spring, and one in the fall. And they both had full-time jobs outside of that. They made good extra money. They had a good impact. So they taking the risk of trying to go full-time didn't really make sense for them.
Right.
But it was in that year off that I had my first, I want to say I had 5 kids I was doing like one-on-one training with outside of those groups. And this is where the stubbornness I think I mentioned earlier came into play. I always was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life, but I'm going to make sure I like it. Because I had the sight of just, I'm going to live probably a long time, and I don't want to do something just because I need to make money. So that helped me and hurt me, and I'm sure we might get into that. But it was in that year off I made that decision, and I knew when I graduated I was going to start my own business. I didn't know it was going to be New Age Hoops until like maybe 2 or 3 months before I graduated. But I made that decision in my mind, like when I graduate, I'm going to start a basketball training business. And then came up with a name one night, laying in bed at like 2 a.m, got up, started writing all this stuff in my notebooks, all these ideas I had, and definitely thought the process would be a lot easier. And that's where I say the stubbornness hurt me, because what I should have done was get a job that probably was in the basketball industry, maybe with a bigger training company, learned and kind of built mine on the side instead of just trying to go all in right away.
Right.
But again, I don't regret it.
Nah, dude.
I'm sitting here with you. I feel like
You
the
gotta
fact
jump
that
in
I'm
the
sitting
pool.
here with you right now means I'm on the right track. So.
Well, yeah, you got to jump in the pool. I think there's a lot to be said about jumping in the pool right away. That's definitely a lot more courageous than having a job and doing it on the side. Because what's crazy is you have that full-time job and you're trying to build this business. How much are you really spending on the business? How much are you spending on the full-time job?
Right.
That's hard, dude. You know, there's a lot of people out there that think like, oh, I got all the time in the world. I only spend 8 hours of my day working. I have 16 other hours to do whatever. I'm like, yeah, figure that shit out.
Right.
Nah, dude. So I give you a lot of credit for that, because that's a ballsy move.
Appreciate it.
That's a ballsy move right out of the gate. I mean, it's funny because you're talking about, so it's 2016 you graduated.
May of 2016.
It's funny because I started my ascension in Berks County in 2016.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've been doing this forever, but I never had to leave my house
Okay.
until 2016. 2016, I finally was like, well, I should probably network around here.
Right.
You know how to do all that stuff. So that's cool, man. So we're on the same trajectory in a way, you know, year-wise. So how did you keep yourself motivated, you know, after you started doing New Age Hoops and you didn't have a full-time job?
Keep myself motivated. Well, again, it was the same thing of just, I knew eventually, like I wrote down, I got one of my first like personal development books was like a big fitness guy. And in there, throughout the book, it asks you questions and like, what's your why? Why are you doing this? What are your goals? And I think I wrote like, be one of the best basketball trainers in the world. Like that's my goal. And I was like, eventually I'll get there. Like, I know eventually I'm going to get there because I'm never going to stop learning. I'm never going to get to the point where like, oh, I think I know. I don't need to learn anything else. And I knew through the experience and the time, I thought it would happen faster, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew eventually I would learn and be able to have the knowledge to work with any level player, whether it's a little kid or an NBA player. So I think it was, again, that just naive stubbornness of just, I'm going to figure this out eventually. And so that way, whenever I hit my highs or my lows, like, I knew I was never going to give up on it. I almost, probably before the camp, I got offered to go out to Vegas and get like selling solar panels job. And I was like, I had my plane ticket. I was ready to go. I was going to do it. And the vision was to go do it for a year or two, save up some money, come back. And like, I couldn't leave the kids that I was working with at the time. Because when I told them, they were like, oh man, like, what are we going to do? Like, who are we going to train with now? And I just couldn't do it. Now, again, in hindsight, maybe it would have been the right play, maybe not, because the guys, they were making ridiculous money. The ones that went and did it, like something like $20,000 to $50,000 a month selling these solar panels. Who knows if I would have had that success or not?
Right.
But I didn't go. I stayed, and I just always tried to figure it out. I had to do a lot of little things like I got a side job at UPS a couple different times over the winter, delivering packages, packing up UPS trucks. I drove Uber for a while. I had a job at like a juice bar. So I had to eventually, when you have money and you have to pay bills,
Yeah.
and it's not coming from the business that you have, I had to figure it out. But I never once was like, all right, I'm done with this. Like, I always knew basketball training and working with kids was going to be my future.
That's awesome, dude. How do you feel you're doing now with the business? Like, do you think you're done doing UPS and all that stuff?
I think so. I think COVID was really like the beginning of me making this a legit full-time where I don't have to depend on other sources of income, because COVID hit, the world shut down, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I had just finished doing like a really big clinic, so I got like a decent enough check to hold me off for at least like a month or two. And then money started going down for me, and on the other side of it, I just saw kids were just sitting at home doing nothing. Like nothing. And I'm always at the mindset of like, you're either getting better or you're getting worse. So there's got to be kids out there that are putting time in their garage, out in their driveway, working on their game still. But the majority of kids I see are just playing video games, doing nothing at all. And I'm like, how can I still have an impact to these kids? And a lot of the trainers I follow were doing like Zoom trainings.
Yeah.
So I decided to, actually the guy, DJ Sackman, who was going to come to the camp, he had his own app. So it had like all his drills and everything he really teaches. So I bought that app and used that to start doing Zoom trainings. So I would kind of take the kids through those workouts. And I set up like a month. Remember I came in? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And I was like, Freddy, we got to shift everything we did for the camp and turn it into this now. I was like, I don't know how we're going to do it. And I was like, I probably gave you a really short timeline of like, I need to have it done. And you helped me out, and we got that going. And that worked really well. Like, but then everything opened back up.
Yeah.
So I think that was from about April to June I did that. So I might have had like 70 to 80 kids on there, like 5 different groups. I did Monday to Friday. I had a group at 8 in the morning, a group at 12, a group at maybe 3, and a group at 5. Just different teams. Some were just, one was like a high school girls team. One was like a 6th grade travel team. One was just a high school overall group. And then I think I had a younger overall group. So 4 total groups. But then that shifted to in person. And I think the mistake I made there was I didn't really come up with a plan. I didn't be like, all right, well now I've been doing this really good. It's been pretty successful online training, but now in person's open. So I just ditched the online and went straight to in person, which probably was not the smartest decision, because like I said, I had something good going with the consistency of the online.
I think so.
And if I could go back, I probably would have combined them and maybe like a half online, or online only still an option, or a combination of the two, or maybe just in person. But that was, like I said, that was the beginning of me making enough money to pay my bills and just kind of start to build that.
Where do you feel New Age Hoops is right now?
So I'm very critical of myself. Like I'm always, like if someone's like, oh, it's what you're doing is awesome. Like I love it. Da, 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 da. I always like, I could do so much more.
Yeah.
Like I can't help but just be like, but this could be better. This could be better. This could be better. But I honestly was thinking about this last night, and the fact that I'm sitting down with you now, I feel like is a sign that I'm heading in the right direction.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have sat down with you if I wasn't comfortable with where I was at with New Age Hoops. So what'd you say? Where's New Age Hoops at now?
Yeah, like how do you feel about it now? Like, you know, like you told me everything about how it started. You told me where you were going, COVID, all these decisions you're making. You're stubborn, you're naive, and now you're like, okay, it's 2023. I feel like it exists, but it's like one of those things now where it's like, well, if you get it, good luck.
Right, we're not shutting down the country again.
That's not happening again. So it's like, all right, 2023. Like, how you feeling, man? Where's New Age at?
I feel good. I think this is the beginning of it being something really special and really being what I envisioned it to be all the way back that night that I came up with the name and started writing out all these ideas of what I wanted it to be. So I'm just launched monthly memberships starting this month,
Right on.
3 different tiers. Because basically what I learned is if I'm going to truly have an impact on these kids, it's got to be a month-to-month basis. I'm not a miracle worker. I can't take little Johnny, work with him 10 times, and now he learned everything I know.
Right.
And it's a 2-part thing because if I give that kid a New Age Hoops t-shirt, I stop working with him. Now he's a representation of me. So, and it's also like I feel like I didn't do enough for him. So I needed to create the business side of it that made sense and the parents understood like, hey, this is a long-term approach. Like it's not just basketball. I'm going to help them build their confidence. We're going to build habits. And the idea is even if after their 3, 4, 5, 6 years of basketball, if they go on and don't play basketball anymore, they learn some things they can apply. That's ultimately the vision of it. So I feel like I said, it's really, this is the beginning of this is the year it's going to start to grow into what I've always envisioned it. And it's because I think my mindset and my confidence in myself and my understanding of the value I provide is now at the highest level it's ever been. So when I first started, I was just happy people were paying me to train their kids.
Yeah.
Like I remember I had a package, I think it was like $600 for 10 one-on-one sessions. And I remember the girl, we did it. She finished all 10 and the mom was like, hey, we want to do another 10. And I didn't say this out loud, but in my head I was like, oh my gosh, she's going to pay me again? Like that's how different my mindset was 3-4 years ago to where it is now.
Yeah.
So now it's more of an expectation. Like I know you see the value your kid's getting. Like why would you stop doing it month to month to month? When before it was just I was just happy I was getting paid to train basketball.
No, you're absolutely right because I was doing the same thing. I think my wife was the one that kind of hit me in the face one day. She's like, it's great that people are paying you to build websites, right? And you're having a good time. She's like, yeah, I love it. And they're paying you what you're asking. I'm like, yeah, it's amazing. She's like, and then they leave. I'm like, yeah. She's like, and then they leave. And I was like, oh yeah. She's like, how do you like
take that next step?
Yeah, because you get so excited on just, they really like me. They're going to pay me all this money. It's
boost
like,
your ego up a little bit.
Yeah, you're
feeling
like, all right,
good.
you know what you're doing, but she was just like, well, bro, they're coming and leaving, and that model is, that she put in me. I was like, okay, how do I keep them around? And that's where like my maintenance stuff came from.
Okay. So I know you said this about me, New Age Hoops, but real quick, like how long did that process take from the time your wife told you, hey, how do you get them to stay?
Right.
Till you had a model where you felt good that it was consistent that they were staying. Was it a month, 2 months?
Maybe a month.
Okay.
Because I think you never stop learning. So like let's say she was like, hey, you got to figure this out. I'm like, you're right, because I want from a business standpoint, I want to get paid every month essentially. Make that constant income while I'm doing new projects. That way you can keep the lights on and all those good things. And then after a month, I was like, okay, what can I offer? Why would somebody stick around? And so then you make that list, then you start selling it, and then you start seeing how people are reacting. What are they not understanding? What do they need? How do I whatever? And then what I come to find out was a lot of the time people were just sticking around and paying me because they liked me.
Okay.
They just liked me. They liked the relationship we had. And I think you get that in business sometimes. People just like, they want to support you, whatever. And I started to feel like, well, I think people are getting lost on like just this aspect of it when I'm offering all these things. Then you start to edit the whole thing. Okay, well, you know what? I should put this in the package because then they'll see what I'm doing for them as opposed to them just laying out cash every month. So then you do this little thing and then you might add this little thing and then take this little thing out. So what I come to find is from when I started doing that, maybe 2-3 years ago, I would say I started doing that till now is the monthly has changed a lot. The price has increased, but the value and the quality has increased as well.
Okay.
So yeah, it took a month to get it off the ground.
Right, to get it started.
But now I'm at a point 3 years later where I think now it's fully polished.
Okay.
And I offer to people like you were just saying as an expectation. Because when you sit there and go, hey, by the way, thanks for, like I loved building your website. In case you're interested, here's our maintenance packages. Let me know if you would want to continue with that. 9 times out of 10, what are they going to say? No.
No, right.
I'm good. I got my website later.
Right. Why do I need that?
Right. You did everything already. Now I come from an angle of, hey, this is what the website is. When we're done with the website, your maintenance package will begin promptly thereafter the first month. Let me know which one you want to do so we can get your website set up for that package when we launch.
So the expectation is you are doing the maintenance.
Yes.
It's just which one do you want to do?
Which one do you want?
Right. Not do you want to do one.
Right.
I like that.
I throw it in there like that and they go, okay, we'll start with that one.
Okay.
And it went from having like 1 or 2 people to like now it's over 20, maybe 30 at this point. I haven't really counted lately, but you're talking about having that many people, you get that check every month. That check is what helps you, elevate everything.
Right.
Because it's like, oh, I'm making all this money now. Fuck that. That's not even the point.
Right.
You're taking all that money that's coming in, and then you're allowed to do things like this.
Reinvest.
It's reinvesting all the time. Like this podcast. Like why would you do this? Why would you have this crazy podcast? Why would you pay somebody to do these podcasts for you and put them on video?
Right.
Why? Because where's my brand right now? Right. This might not be making me money, but it's giving me branding.
And because you're making money, you don't need it to make you money. It's more of a long-term vision and a long-term play.
It's branding. And a lot of people don't understand branding. And that's why I've been talking about it a lot lately.
Yeah.
Because they think they know. They don't know shit. They don't know anything. Because I'll go to your place and go, oh, you understand everything there is about branding? Great. Why is your sign dirty? Why do you have a sign on your door with 2 pieces of Scotch tape? And why is it that when I walk in, it smells like shit? You know what I mean? Like, it's like little things. I'm not saying everybody does that.
Right.
There's just those little things like that where it's just like, dude, branding starts from the front of your place, and like they come and they walk in. The second somebody walks in here, they smell that like mahogany teak wood. That's a scent I put in here. And I know it sounds crazy, but that's just part of it. Like, oh, it smells nice.
Like that was calculated.
Right.
It wasn't random.
It's nice in here. And like, oh, look at all this. This place looks great. Look at all this artwork on the walls. Like, yeah, it's made to have you come in here, feel relaxed, have a good time, feel creative. That's branding. It's not just a logo. So, yeah, there you go. That's my long answer on maintenance.
Well, just to follow that up, like you're the one that told me I just came from a haircut. Everybody, buff cuts. That's that's one of the cool things. To go out going too much of a tangent, but he was a kid I trained in basketball.
Yeah,
really had bad knee problems last year. Ended up not playing his junior year, but he was also taking up barbering and really starting to take it seriously. And now he's got a full-fledged business. He's got a whole he's got a plan. Like he's really in an amazing place as a 18, 17-year-old kid in high school.
Wow, that's awesome.
And I like to think that a lot of the things, because when I did those Zooms over COVID, I used the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Oh, yeah.
And at the end of each session, we would do little 10, 15, 20-minute discussions. And the kids would take notes. And he was one of those kids that you could just see something light up when we talked about the ideas of being proactive versus reactive, just some of the things from the book. And to see where he's at now, I like to think he took some of the stuff we talked about during basketball training and now is applying it to his barber business.
Absolutely.
But the reason I brought that up is because you're the one that told me, because I think when I first came to meet you, I don't know if it was when my haircut was then or you saw me post a picture. I think it was I posted a picture on Facebook of somebody that was sponsoring the camp.
Yeah.
And my hair was terrible.
Yeah.
It was all over. It was stuck out. It looked like I just got out of bed. And you're like, dude, you got to put barber into your budget. He's like, you are your own brand. You can't show up places not looking presentable. And that stuck with me. And I've been pretty consistent with getting haircuts now.
Yeah. And you always look clean cut, bro.
You have to.
You have to. And it's one of those things where it's like, people want to sit there and be like, oh, I don't, I can be whoever I am.
Right.
I can do whatever I want. People have to accept me for me. Okay, that's great. I understand all that. But I don't have to accept the fact that you couldn't fucking iron your shirt this morning and brush your hair.
Right.
Yeah, I don't have to accept that.
Right.
So go fuck yourself.
Right.
How's that sound?
Yeah, it's just
good.
like,
you know what I mean?
It's that first impression.
Right. That still counts, dude.
It definitely does.
All day, every day. I mean, listen, I'm not the best go to work dressed kind of guy. I love wearing shorts. I love wearing ratty T-shirts. I'm just very comfortable in that zone.
Yeah.
But now when people start coming in all the time, and now that I hired another designer, I'm going to come in here with a ratty T-shirt and shorts.
Can't.
No, man.
Doesn't fit.
No, dude. I gotta be the fucking guy. So I'm walking in here with like a sweater on, and my hair, every 2 weeks I got a haircut.
Okay.
You know, so I get you, bro. And you know, a lot of people don't follow that, and I'm glad that they don't, because it makes it easier for me to be better than this.
To stick out, right?
That's it.
And it doesn't even seem like you're doing anything. It's kind of common sense when you
Right.
talk about it. Well, I heard some, and I think, because we were just talking about earlier, college, it used to be that's what you do.
Right.
And now more and more people are like, well, why should I go? They're questioning it. And I think there's a big thing in society of like, oh, you're perfect the way you are. You don't need to clean up. You don't need to get in shape. You don't need to get your bills.
Right.
And I saw something recently, it's probably on Instagram, and it said, you're not perfect the way you are. You're perfect when you're trying to perfect yourself. So like when you're in the process of trying to get in better shape and you're trying to figure out your life and you want to do better for yourself, that's perfect. But if you're just like, nope, I don't need to do anything. Like, I don't know. I can't agree with that mindset, because then what's the point of living?
Well, right.
If you're never trying to improve yourself, you're not trying to make other people around you life's better, your family's life better, and you're just, I'm good. I'm content.
No,
Like it'll get old pretty quick.
I'm with you 100%. I think that the problem is that's what's out there a lot. But I think on the flip side of that too, I think that's the narrative that social media is showing you, and you cannot take that as law. Because when you leave the social media world and major cities, I won't lie to you, major cities, and you go to anywhere else in this freaking beautiful country, you'd be surprised at how many people still think like us. You know, they're just not out there with a bullhorn, you know, trying to make everybody think like them.
Right.
You know, and I think part of that is because they don't want to, they don't want the competition. You know, and that's something that I didn't really think of all the time.
Okay.
I was on another podcast, and I was talking with my buddy Eddie Rodriguez. I was on his podcast, and we were talking about like, how come people don't do this? And then I was like, wait a minute. I was like, you know what? I'm done talking about this. Why? Because I don't want to fucking let them know how they should be doing things.
Right.
Make it easier for me. You know, and I was like, yeah, dude. And what you quickly realize, almost nothing is common sense in reality.
Right.
Because there's a lot of people out there that just don't get it.
Right.
We're built different, man. We're built different. If there's anything I can definitely say about you is, yeah, you're a stubborn motherfucker for sure, and naive at times, but you don't quit.
Can't.
You figure it out, and you go to the next thing.
And learn from it.
Always. That's why there's never any failures, dude.
Yep. Lessons.
Yes.
That's why I said to you before this, like, and I'm happy I'm doing this because I know I'm gonna feel more confident after I leave here. Like when I first started training and I would go to like a new family, I would be so nervous. It would be like 2 kids and a mom. I would be nervous as can be. The first time I ever did a training, I had me and that guy Joe Linderman, we ran a clinic together, and it was a kindergarten group of like 20 kids for about an hour and a half, and then right after that, a first and second grade group. And we always did it together for about 3 years. And then year 4, he's like, I don't really want to do this anymore. You can do it by yourself. So now instead of me just being the assistant, I was running it. Right. And that first kindergarten group, I was so nervous. There was parents just staring at you and like kids everywhere. But once that kindergarten group ended and I got to the first and second graders, I was like, okay, this is easy.
Right.
And ever since then, groups have not been an issue, because I felt like once I can handle 25 kindergartners at once by myself, now I can do any group.
I feel like you can do anything in life
after that, right? And like get them not to cry and get them to actually organize in lines and stuff.
Dude.
That was a good experience.
That's a feat in itself.
I think that's something for anyone that works with kids. Like if you can work with the youngest, that's the best experience you can get. If you can work with that 5, 6 years old and get them to listen and pay attention, then when you get to the middle schoolers and the high schoolers, it should be easier.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think another thing that people should do is work in retail. Okay. I think a lot of people don't work in retail.
Like customer service.
Yeah, I think you should work in retail. You should work at a Giant, work at a Target, work at one of those places, have people hate you, yell at you, fucking damn near spit on you. But I feel like when you go through all those situations, you learn how like the human mind can work and almost maybe even diffuse weird situations. If you never put yourself in a situation to deal with people like that, I feel like you're always going to have like these different kind of glasses when you're looking into it, like, it'll be fine. It'll be okay. Everything's going to be just no. That's not how the world works,
right?
You know? So, yeah, if you're a teacher and you deal with the youngest class, you're a fucking superhero. But you should also, go out there and work in retail and get your ass kicked. And that's a great way to go through life, because I did retail all through my younger years.
Okay.
And I think that helped me with just even talking to people.
Just getting comfortable talking to people,
just
right?
in general, how to talk to people, how how to find the signs. Because like you own your own business, the number one thing that we both have to do is sell. And sell ourselves, and that comes with the branding. But at the that when you get to the stage when you have to fight the boss, like in video games,
Yep.
you better got your shit on point. Like you can have all the weapons you can, but if you can't come out and use them right,
No, I hear
crash
that.
and burn, dude.
I hear that. Yeah, there's nothing like the experience. You can read the books, you can hear it from someone, you get the advice, but until you're in it, there's nothing you could prepare for it as much as you can, but like there's nothing like actually facing it
like
and dealing
driving.
with people.
Right. It's like remember the first time you drove?
Oh my gosh, it's terrible.
It's like, shaking.
I remember I had my permit and I would put my turn signal on, and as I put my turn signal on, I swerved into the middle lane on the highway, and my mom and sister started screaming, like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm sorry, I didn't do it on purpose." I remember that very clearly.
Yeah, dude, but now you don't even think twice about it.
Right.
You're just like, I'm just leaving. I'm going to my next place.
Yep. You
That's
almost
anything.
get there and you don't even remember the drive because
Right.
it's so automatic now.
Yeah, it's anything in life, dude. I mean, it's funny. I still remember when I was younger and I was doing MySpace designs, and I remember seeing WordPress, and I was like, man, I would love to learn how to build WordPress. When am I ever going to do that? I would love to be like, to design that.
Okay.
That was like 2008.
And then how long after that you started doing it?
I don't know, bro. Maybe 2 years after that.
Okay.
But now I'm like sleeping.
Now WordPress is your thing.
Oh, WordPress is
Yeah.
like second nature. It's like English. I could probably speak better WordPress, than English, dude. Well, that's just hard work and tenacity, and going through all those things. I mean, I can definitely see that in you. It's definitely one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on and talk about New Age hoops and what you've built. Because, yeah, when I first met you, you were like, I have this thing, I have this school, and like I bring kids in and I'm going to have a camp. Sounds great,
Yep.
And now it's like just blown up into this thing where it's like, you have all these families coming in. Now you're coming in and we're doing like consulting sessions, and you're like, how should I do this? And how should
This
I
is my
build
next
that?
step I
How should
want to
build
get
this?
to. How do I
Right.
go here? Yep.
And it's cool that you still do that, because a lot of the times people are too stubborn to ask for help, or even just consult with somebody and say, hey, what should I do? That's one of the things I think people need to push consulting more in general. Like, you don't always necessarily need to hire that person to do it for you. Just
Right.
hire that person to tell you what you should be doing.
Right.
And
Invest
then take
in
that ball
yourself.
and roll with it. Yeah. It's like reading a book, except you're just talking to somebody and just asking specific questions.
Yeah.
Instead of wondering. And I think, believe it or not, I asked McCookie for advice like about a month and a half ago. I was like, McCookie, what do you think I should be doing with these videos? Should I be putting it here or here? And he put me in my place, in a sense. He was like, dude, this is what you're known for. Do it here. Put it this way. Do it like this. And I was like, you're absolutely right.
Good job, McCookie.
Yeah, man. And I fucking changed everything how I did it.
Because you were open to criticism,
You
you were open
have
to
to
someone
be.
advice.
You have to be. I used to be such a fucking douche with that stuff, man. Like, don't tell me what to do. Fuck you.
Right.
So stupid. So stupid.
I think I was opposite, which is kind of funny.
Which is great.
I was almost too, like,
Yeah,
help me
it's
out,
all right.
help me out. Like, shout out to Dina Breslin. She was my coach for a while. And one of the things she said to me, she's like, every coach should have a coach. Like, if you're working with people or I'm working with kids, like, who's gonna, if I'm giving them advice, well, who am I getting advice from? Who am I learning from?
Right.
And it doesn't always have to be you pay for a coach, or it could just be a consulting session every once in a while. It could be a book. It could be, but there's got to be some type of, I'm continuing to learn and develop myself.
Could be your friends.
That's the thing that frustrates me with the basketball world is I feel like a lot of coaches, they want their kids to continue to learn and grow and be coachable, but they're doing the same things they've been doing for 15 years. I just see it. I see it all the time. I see it from the high school level all the way up to the Division I level. It's a lot of things are outdated. A lot of things that are taught are outdated just because everyone's just, well, I learned this and now I'm going to teach it. And I just keep teaching it. And it's just frustrating because
You
the
can't
kids
do
aren't going to
that.
respond well to that.
Right.
They see through it. They're like, well, you're telling me this, but you're not doing it. And I think that's why I do well with kids, because I think they know I know what I'm talking about. They know I care, and I think they believe that I have the ability to help them get better. So I feel like I get a good respect level from them. It's like I don't understand how some coaches can't get their kids to just be respectful human beings. That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, but that's great that you even like offer that kind of knowledge to these kids. Because there's days, right, where I would say, oh man, my kids are being such pains in the asses, and like, am I doing a good job? Are my kids cool? Are my kids assholes? Like, you don't know, because as a dad, you're just questioning every little thing that
you're
happens.
just figuring it out just like everything else, right?
And then I told people, Yeah, just go to Walmart for a day and just listen. You're fucking father of the year, right? And it's not a dig on Walmart or the people that go in there. It's just that's always where I went, and I would experience parenting skills. Where like my parents would get mad at us in public, but never as much as when we got home. Then we got in trouble.
Okay.
But just the expectation was set there.
Okay.
And I feel like a lot of parents, I don't think they do that good of a job, but it's not because they don't care. I think
it's definitely not that they don't care.
Right. I think it's because of society today as a whole. I think a lot of it's both parents have to go to work, not only just go to work, but for a million hours to make a living. But then you expect them to come home and take care of their kids, in a way without being frustrated. But dude, I go home now sometimes as a 44-year-old man, and I've had it. My brain is fried, and I still snap at maybe my wife or my kid, which is not warranted. But you're human.
Right.
I feel like these people are human, and I feel that a lot from my parents because when they were young, they were working different types of hours. And you could see, like, my dad, when I was a kid, I used to always be afraid of my dad because my dad was just always like, rah, 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 rah. And then now, as I'm older, I think to myself, oh, it's not because he didn't love me. It's because he was so fucking tired from working and dealing with the bullshit, and just stressed out. And how do you expect a human to be perfect all the time? So for me, it's like, it's good to bring it all the way back again, that you're taking the time to not just show them how to get better at basketball, but how to get better at life. And even you leaving that mark in them doesn't mean that they had bad parents. It's just nice that somebody else took an interest in them and helps them on that path.
And I've been seeing a lot lately. I feel like there's a lot of good people in Berks County right now in that 30 to like 50 range that are really trying to do good things, doing there's a lot of awesome things that go on for a lot of people I've met recently. But the theme I'm seeing is it takes a village. It takes a village, and I see it more than ever because it's like you said. If it's just the two parents or just one parent trying to work with 1, 2, 3 kids, it's really hard because now they're only listening to you for everything. If they're not hearing any other like adult or mentorship type of advice, that's hard. But when you have 6, 7, 8 adults all being a positive influence on a kid, I think that's just the sheer number. Right. The kid's going to get more out of that.
And they're a sponge at that age. At that age, everything's just coming in, and it doesn't last forever. Because I was stubborn forever, like for years. And then I come to Berks County, I start realizing, oh, there's other business owners here. Maybe we can discuss one day. And then that's how I found John Whitehall. And Whitehall's like,
I love John.
I mean, forget about it. I bounced so much stuff off of him. And he was actually responsible for one of my biggest, projects.
Okay.
Because they came back at me and said, sharpen your pencil and see if you could fix this or whatever. And I went to John after that. And John was like, he listened to me for 2 minutes, and he was like, are you worth it? I'm like, of course I am. He's like, so why are you talking to me? That's all he had to say.
Yeah.
And the conversation was over.
That's awesome.
Just that little bit right there, So, man, I feel like I could take advice from people when I'm 80. I would never stop. I'm finally happy that I'm starting to just take that into more aspects of my life.
Okay.
Where I'm like, yes, and yes, and yes, and this is what I should be doing, and this is what you should be doing, and like, let the pride go. It's like Pulp Fiction, like.
Never saw it.
Oh, boy.
I know of it. That's the one with Samuel L. Jackson, right?
Yeah, dude. Come on, bro.
I've only ever seen that one clip.
Pulp Fiction is so great. There's just one scene where he's talking to Bruce Willis, and he's just like, Marcellus Wallace is talking to Bruce Willis's character. He's just like, they're fixing a fight, and he's like, go down in the fourth or something like that. He's like, nah, that night you might be thinking, I'm not going to go down. I'm not going to do what I'm supposed to do. He's like, that's just pride fucking with you. And obviously it's a movie. Obviously it's about fixing a fight. I get it.
Right.
But when he says that to Bruce Willis, he's like, that's just pride fucking with you. I'm like, that's so true. Men are so guilty.
Yep.
Okay. 9 out of every 10 men are guilty. That's why I'm going to put it. Like those bad commercials.
Yeah.
And now I find myself saying like, dude, that's just pride fucking with you. Move on.
Isn't it crazy how one little scene from a movie that can stick with you like that? One line, just like what you said with John. Like all it takes is that sometimes.
And it's just Pulp Fiction. It's just a good movie.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know if it's a life lesson movie. It's just a good movie.
But you were able to perceive a life lesson out of it.
That little thing, right?
Yep.
And like, cool. And there's things that you're talking about with like even your boy that owns Buff's Cuts?
Buff Cuts.
Buff Cuts, right?
Buff Cuts, yep.
He was a student. You were just teaching him about basketball, but then you taught him a few things with those high habits. Did you have an effect on the kid? Of course you did. To what extent? Who knows?
Right.
And you'll never go and be like, hey, you did this because of me, right? I
Right.
mean, yeah, you're never going to do that.
Right.
But it's like, yeah, that's probably where it happened. And
Yeah.
he just took that information and applied it elsewhere.
Yeah.
It's a cool feeling, man.
It is. Like I had one. I just played in an alumni game, New Year's Eve. Stupid. I tore my ACL in June,
Nice.
and I didn't get surgery. I might one day.
How's that feel?
Well, it felt great, and that's why I played in my alumni game. And then now, since then, it's been hurting, and I'm like, why'd I do that? But so I started off out in Brandywine, Ole. Those were like the kids I started training. 'Cause I lived out there. I lived with my dad in Kutztown. I lived in the basement, and one of the kids I worked with, this was like one of the kids I was like all the way locked in with, because I didn't have that many kids when I first started. So we were training like 3-4 days a week in the driveway, hour-and-a-half sessions. And this kid had like a crazy thumb flick. I don't know if you know what that means. Like when you shoot a basketball, ideally you want the guide hand straight, and you want this follow through with the shooting hand straight down. But a lot of players do this. They use the left hand or the right hand, depending on what hand they are. So I didn't let this kid shoot a three-pointer for the first like 10, 15 sessions we had. And we were playing in the alumni game, and we were down by 6, like 50 seconds left. He hit back-to-back threes to tie it and put it into overtime. And after the game was over, he's like, you know those threes were all you, right? Like, he's like, that's what you taught me back all those times in the driveway. And even though it was just a stupid alumni game, he's graduated high school now. It was a good feeling.
Yeah,
like that he
dude.
gave me the credit. I didn't think that when he shot
Yeah.
those. I was just happy he made them because I wanted to win because I'm competitive. And we lost in overtime. Oh, man. But it felt good, like that he thought
dude.
that, because it's been 3 years since I've worked with the kid. But for him to like go back and give me credit for it and just say, hey, I remember all those times in the driveway. That was cool. Because I think
Making a difference.
because I know so much more now. And like I know my ability to help a player get better is 10, 100 times better than it was 3 years ago. So I almost feel like there's like this guilt in me of like, I wish I could have done better for those kids back then. But so for him to say that, I was like, all right, I did something all right back then.
I hear
when
the
first
guilt
started.
part.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
because
it's
I have
just-
clients that I do stuff now I wish I would have done for them back then, but
Right.
you didn't know any better.
Right. You did the best you could at the
Right.
time.
I'm sure if you knew what you knew now back then, you'd make a difference.
Right.
Like in that aspect.
Right.
You can't. That's just, bro.
You can't be perfect.
No.
I feel like that's
perfect.
what, as long as you do the best you can, and
Well,
you
that's
keep
the
being
thing.
open to learn, eventually you're going to just get better and better and better.
Right. And I think that's part of the reason why you're successful. That's because even though, sure, it's knowledge. You have to know things.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, at the same time, just the fact that you care is probably like 50% at least
Right.
of the reason why people come back.
Because you can feel that. You can feel the authenticity when a coach actually wants you to get better, or when they're just doing it because they have
For
to.
a paycheck.
Yep.
It's like, I know you're not a paycheck kind of guy.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole time, even the consulting things we've talked about, you're like, well, I want to do this and do that. But even then, the last meeting we had was about customer experience.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's the user experience going to be? How do we make it easy for them? Which is basic business, but at the same time, you're trying to make lives easier for these parents because, like we said, we both know both of them work minimum 40 hours a piece. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, most of the time it's more than that. Yeah, so that's big kudos. The fact that you care, beautiful. Because a lot of people don't give a fuck.
It's true.
And that's sad to say, but that's what it is.
It's the reality of it.
Yeah, dude. So what's next for New Age Hoops?
New Age Hoops, get these monthly memberships rolling this month. Really start to brand. That's next, because it's like, I feel like I really feel good about where I'm going with my foundation, with what's like the main thing I'm going to offer. What's that look like? What's the process I take kids through? What's the customer experience like for the parents to get started? So this month's all about getting that shirt up, getting it really solid, locked in, and then once the season ends is when I really start to get busy. So right now we're in basketball season. February is the end of the season, and then playoffs. If you're a really good team, you'll play till about March. So once March hits, that's when, everyone just finished. Little Johnny's like, wow, I need to get better. Where can I go? And that's where I'm planning on being there. And I really see New Age Hoops getting to the point where I'm going to have a good problem of being booked up.
Yeah.
Where because I can only work with so many kids at a time.
Yeah.
And for right now, I'm finding out what is that number. I think it's going to be in that 50 to 60 range. And then I'll have to figure out how to bring trainers on, train them to what I know, and train them in the New Age Hoops system. So it's really just solidifying everything this month, and then branding, getting consistent social media out there, getting my sign up at the gym, getting T-shirts, all the little things. I feel like I'm working on the foundation of little things, and now it's like, how do I make that part better
Yeah.
with the branding and everything? And I didn't mention the Rebels at all. Still part of the Rebels, and I think what I'm excited about with that, so I'm a small percentage owner of the Reading Rebels. We start up in March, second season, is I really believe as New Age Hoops grows and my impact grows with New Age Hoops, that's going to automatically affect the Rebels. Because like the kids, I've noticed it last year. Like I had so many kids that just came and volunteered at the games just because they wanted to be involved. The two kind of mesh well together. So I think we're gonna be able to merge together, and it's almost like everything's coming full circle from when I first started. Because Joe Linderman, who I said did that BBA where I started in college, he's now the head coach of the Rebels, and he's not doing BBA anymore. So I'm kind of becoming the only training company around, at least to my knowledge, and he's now the head coach of the Rebels. But we've already started talking like the camps we can run together, the clinics we can run together, using the professional players to also now have an impact on the young players. So there's just the possibilities are endless. I think it all just comes down to me locking in on my daily habits, the little things, going to bed around the same time, getting up at the same time, getting to the gym consistently. And I think as long as I get solid with my habits, it's going to just make my ability to impact these kids and everything I'm doing go to another level.
Good answer.
Thank you. Thank you.
What do you see for the Rebels this year?
Oh man, consistency.
Don't do the politician's answer.
No, consistency. So last year was a shit show. I think it was the first time I cursed on this. It was a complete shit show, man. Like
But it was fun.
It was fun.
I enjoyed myself. I hated when the Lancaster Kings won, though. You guys got to fix that.
Dude. Well, first of all, the kid, Trey Code, he hit that. You were at the last game of the season?
I don't think I was there. I don't know if I was there or not. I don't remember. They all meshed together now.
I don't even want to like admit that we lost all 3 games to them. So we were 0-3 against them.
Yeah, I was there for
the first one, probably.
And
the second one was away. I don't think you didn't come to the away game.
No, I saw the third one.
So you were at the third one.
I was at the last one.
We lost on a buzzer beater to Trey Code. He's the old Wilson player, went overseas. Respect the hell out of the kid. I think he tore his Achilles overseas, and he just grinded his way back. And the Kings was his first opportunity to play, and he hit a dagger. It wasn't a buzzer beater, but we were up by 1 or 2, and he hit a 3 at the top of the key, 2 seconds left on the clock. And it's just like dagger in the heart. Second last game of the season, I think. But last year at this time, like just where we're at now compared to where we were last year, it's night and day. Like we have our coach in place, we have our venue in place. Now we're playing at Alvernia every game.
I love that.
We got a good deal with them. We have pretty much our rosters pretty solid. There's still, I would say we have our main like 7 players we know we want locked in, and then we have training camp starting up in about a couple weeks. I think it's gonna take that next step.
Right on.
It's not gonna just all of a sudden be this money-making great thing that everyone in the county knows what the Reading Rebels are. The season's gonna end, and there's gonna be people that will be like, what the heck are the Reading Rebels? Yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing I learned is that it's not gonna just snap of a finger, now it's this great thing. But I just think we're gonna take that next step in a really good direction and be competitive. I think we're gonna win some games, hopefully make the playoffs this year, and just find more ways to how do we take the fact that there's a professional basketball team and not just have games, but use that to have an impact on the community. So
I think you should offer people that buy priority season tickets a parking spot.
I like that.
Figure that out.
What about valet? Would you do valet?
I think I would do valet.
I think because if you think of Alvernia, there's not crazy amount of parking close to the entrance.
That's what I'm saying.
So I think valet might be the way.
FXV, we're gonna get our
season
tickets,
the courtside season tickets. Where are you getting? You're gonna get half court.
Gotta see as close as I can get to half court, obviously.
Okay.
But I'm like, maybe you guys should offer, for somebody that buys courtside season tickets,
some type of value add.
Find a cone and just like put a cone out there.
I like that.
As far as season ticket holder.
I like that.
Yeah, but I love that place. I think it's going to be awesome.
You had more fun at the Alvernia games than the Reading games?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Okay.
I'm not going to sit there and say I had more fun.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that was a bad question.
Yeah, because I don't want to. Reading High School, I've never been there. That was the first time I've ever been there. I mean, I'm not from here, so I really didn't have reason to go in there. But it was dope. My wife still talks about it. She's like, oh, when did the Rebels start? I'm like, oh, I just got their schedule,
nice.
And she saw that. And
yeah, she loved it, right?
She had a great time.
That makes me happy
actually, so I will say this. She fell in love with the basketball in person watching Rebels games.
Okay.
Which is why now when I go somewhere, if there's a basketball game I can catch, we just go.
You just went to a Phoenix Suns game, right?
We were at that Game 7 when they took a dump.
Wait.
But it didn't last season?
The Suns Game 7?
Yeah.
Against who? The Mavs? Was that who
The
it was
Mavs.
against? You were at that game?
I was at that game where they took a
man.
shit. Because we were in Phoenix.
Okay.
And I was like, so what's going on in town? We were doing a tour of the Diamondbacks.
And someone said Game 7.
And they were like, oh, Game 7's tomorrow night. And I was like, oh, shit. And I looked at my wife. I'm like, she's like, that'd be kind of cool. I'm like, yeah, because Game 7, we're not invested in either team. Like, let's see
just
the
being
crazy.
in that atmosphere.
Yeah, I wanted to be in that
not
crazy
sitting courtside
atmosphere.
there, though.
No. What am I, fucking rich?
Those are like 20. Those got to be like 20
Oh,
grand
my
a
goodness.
ticket.
I mean, I spent a couple bucks. We were in the building. We were in a corner, so I could kind of see it. It looked pretty good.
Did they get killed?
They got destroyed.
Destroyed.
And that's why it sucked, because it was like I was looking for the Game 7 mentality.
Down to the last 2 minutes,
right,
intensity.
And that did not happen. Phoenix looked like they didn't even show up.
Yeah.
And I was at the game, so I can say that. I saw that. I was like, that was not good.
It was over in the first half?
It was.
Okay.
First quarter.
Wow.
It was a done deal.
Wow.
So, but then there was that, and she was like, this is great. And then we went to Orlando this year, or late last year, September-ish maybe?
Okay.
October-ish? October.
So early season.
It was pre-game. Then I didn't get courtside, but I got that one. It was the 2 rows of courtside and then that first section.
Okay.
I got that for Orlando Magic.
Okay.
And that was an experience.
That's cool.
That was insane, bro. Because they're like, oh, go into this room. I'm like, my seat's here. They're like, give me your ticket. Like, but they gave me the wristband. Like, go over there. And I didn't know that when you are that close, you go into this room and there's like free food and drinks and shit. I was like
a club, like a
is
VIP
nice.
experience.
Yes, I loved it. So then we did that. That was
cool.
awesome. And then we saw the 76ers play the Suns.
Okay.
Suns lost though. Jill's a Suns fan now.
Okay.
That's the first like pro team she saw.
Oh, so she was just like, that's going to be my team now. I respect it.
Yeah, she likes Arizona. She
Okay.
likes Phoenix, like that area. So, but yeah, the Rebels are why she even likes watching basketball.
See, that's cool.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I had a great time. I loved going to the games. I love being close. I love that it's Reading. It's like our hometown team here.
And we're a basketball community. Like, look at what the high school team does. Like, they just think it's a basketball town.
It is.
So
It's either that or baseball.
Yep.
That people love their fightings.
Yep.
Like that's you will see that, but it's those two. Absolutely need to get the Royals on the same level. You know,
You're part of that, right? You're gonna help them
I'm
get
the
up
youth
there.
hockey. I'm part of the youth
Okay.
hockey. I don't do the big boys. The big boys are handled by.
There's a. I should shout this out. Shoot, you should tell me when it is real quick because I have my phone over there. There's a job fair coming up at a Royals game. We're gonna be there. Rebels will be there. Iron Pigs will be there. There's some really good legit sports opportunities that are gonna be there. And I think it's like at 3:00, and then the game's at 6 or 7. So that I'm gonna go to that. That'll be my first ever in-person hockey game.
Really, never been to a hockey
and
game?
I've always heard 2 sports I heard that were the best in person are boxing and hockey.
Haven't seen boxing, seen hockey.
Okay.
Love it.
I heard
love
hockey's just a whole different experience in person.
Yeah, but it's like basketball.
Okay.
Because like I've been to a couple Knicks games, but I wasn't we were poor. I mean we were good, whatever. I wasn't that close, so it was cool to see
Just being in the building.
right. But it's also MSG, so the place is huge, So, but watching hockey now, I can be a little more. I don't need to be on the glass. That's too close. But
Okay.
you get to that middle section, it's really cool. I can't find this. Oh, here it is. Job fair, January 20th, 3:00. Yeah, it's $20. You can get job fair access and then tickets to the game that night.
It's not bad. Who's all going to be there?
So it's going to be the Reading Royals, the Santander Arena, the Phantoms, the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, the ECHL, Reading Rebels, Lancaster Barnstormers, and the Philadelphia Union. So it's all local, big time, especially
It's
like
legit to me. Like if it was just us and the Royals, I won't know if I'd be as excited about it that there's that many because the Iron Pigs are they're
and the Phantoms. The Phantoms are like you could say they're the Flyers AAA,
okay.
right?
Okay.
Which is like the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs are the same thing for baseball.
Yep.
You got the Rebels, the Barnstormers, and the Philadelphia Union. That's the hockey. That's the soccer team.
Okay.
That's like
the MLS soccer team,
yes,
right?
That's
pretty
soccer
cool.
team. Right.
That's pretty cool.
And the ECHL, which is like the overall hockey league for the Royals.
Okay.
And the arena. I mean, if you ever wanted to get involved in the sports industry or any of these things, I would do that.
Well, I thought it was cool. I go to Farmhouse Kitchen. Shout out Farmhouse Kitchen. They're one of my sponsors. I go there religiously and love Marty, love what they're doing there. And one of the workers was just like, hey, like I saw your Instagram story about that job fair. She's like, my boyfriend is in sports management. He wants to know about it. He wants to get involved. And I just thought that was cool.
Yeah,
because
dude.
like just thinking back, that's a kid that he wants to get involved. Doesn't know really where to go. That's a good place to start. Go to a job fair. Talk to people. Ask questions. Get business cards. Meet, like, just get in that and see if it's something you really like.
Yeah, and just get into it for networking purposes. I mean, nobody knew who you were, at least from a small business standpoint, until you started networking yourself.
Right.
One of the best things you can ever do is network.
Have to.
Everything was built on networking. All of it.
That's one of the things I've been teaching kids lately. I had a clinic over Christmas break, and I had it was like 4th and 5th graders, and a kid came in, he went over right to the ball rack. I was like, hey, I'm over here. And like I made him shake my hand. I was like, what are you doing? I was like, shake my hand, like give me like a firm, and I was like, make eye contact. I was like, this stuff's important. Like when you meet people, like make them known that you met them. Like be respectful, like smile, make eye contact, like listen to them. Don't over talk. And I just think that stuff's important. And when we were talking about parenting earlier, my mom told me at some point in my life, I don't know when it was, but just treat people how you want to be treated. She told me that, and it stuck with me. Like I always was polite. Like, and it was meant to work. When my mom would, like, if I would go have a sleepover at a friend's house or something, and those parents told my mom that, like, hey, he was really well mannered and we loved having him, just that lit her up. That was like the coolest thing she could ever hear. And it's like, if I could just teach these kids how to be respectful and treat people right, like that's the best thing I could do for the parents, I think.
And I think you can. I think it's very cool that it's not just learn basketball. It's like life lessons. I think that's a big deal. I think that's something you should put in your branding. I think that's something you should put in
Like
your
character
marketing.
development.
That's a big deal. I mean, just even teaching that kid to say hello first, give a firm handshake, and look the person in the eyes. That's huge. I actually literally judge every one of the dudes that came to my house that were like dating my daughters, one of them, whoever it was. That's how I judge them.
How they
met
entered you
my
and how
house.
they interacted with you.
Right. And only one guy ever came up to me and shook my hand. And
What'd the other
introduced
ones
himself.
do?
Just walked into a room or left or didn't say anything.
Wow.
I was like, God damn. I was like, bro, you already lost.
Yeah, it's over.
Like, you're done.
Yep.
I don't even fucking care about you, bro.
Failed the test one. Well, that's one of the biggest things with networking and the appearance. The same guy that told me in college, it's what you know, or it's who you know that gets you in is what you know that keeps you there. He said, like, I don't know, there was like experiment or science behind it, but if you have a good first impression with someone, it was something like you needed like 5 straight bad impressions after for them to change their perception of you. But if you had a good first impression, they're going to give you the benefit of the doubt. But if you have a bad first impression, it took like 7 straight good impressions after that for them to change their perception of you. And like it makes sense. That's how the human brain works. Like
That's perfect.
if you have a good first impression, you're setting yourself up. And
Yeah.
if your hair's all over the place and you smell weird like cat pee or something.
Man, I put so much effort into my appearance. I mean, it's just you just don't know what's going to happen that day. You have no idea who you're going to run into, who you're going to meet, what the situation's going to be. You have to be prepared for everything. Say, like, even when your mom always says wear clean underwear, because you never know if, like, you're going to get into an accident and be in the ambulance, you know, and then you have, like, fucking crusty ass underwear on, you know. It's like,
Never know. And it's like
never
a
know, dude.
self-respect thing too.
Right.
Taking care, like, even if you're not, I feel like if your mindset's like, oh, I'm doing this completely for other people, you're kind of missing the beat a little bit. But if you're doing it because, like, I know my appearance matters, but I also want to do it for me. I want to go out there and look good. Like, I didn't used to match. Like, I'm dating a girl now, and she's like, I've never seen her not match. She puts her outfit out before she goes to bed every single night. And that's one less thing she's got to worry about the next day.
Right.
And I'm like learning from that because, again, it feels good, like, to make sure my shoes match my sweatshirt.
Sure.
And like my pants have like green in it because of my sweatshirt has green. Like, I didn't used to think that way. Like, some of the girls I used to train made fun of me. They're like, you never match. Like, and I was like, so? And at the time I didn't care, but now I care more.
Yeah.
So
It's like periods and using, like, punctuation correctly and grammar correctly.
yes, your.
Every little thing.
I always use the right your.
Yeah,
I always do. And if I text the wrong one, I put the right one with the little asterisk thing. It's important.
It's all important. It's
Communication.
all part of it. It's all part of who you are, your brand, how you represent yourself, and that's how successful your business and your brand will become based on how you just take care of it.
Yep.
You know. So, Alex,
Freddie.
thanks for coming in, bro.
This was fun.
What a great conversation, right?
It's fun. I learned things about you I never knew. That's what I think is cool about podcasts.
I love podcasts for that reason. You're just talking.
Yep.
You get into this groove, and you just
There's no other agenda.
right.
Like, I'm not trying to sell you something. You're not trying to sell. We're just
right here talking
shooting the shit.
and that's it, dude. So thanks again for coming in, bro. Good luck with New Age
Thank
Hoops,
you.
all those great things, and I guess I'll see you at the Reading Rebels game.
Yeah, and the next poker game.
That's right.
I'm coming for revenge.
All right.
I'm not getting out first this
That's
time.
some bullshit, by the way. The whole splitting the pot at the end. I was like,
Well,
dude,
Justin, I couldn't believe that Dom said yes to it.
that was stupid.
Justin had like 1/10 of what he had in chips. And he's like, you want to split? And I think he was joking. I think I saw it on Justin's face. He was just like, oh, he's not going to split with me. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. And I was like,
Yeah, I already told in my mind. I was like, that's gonna be a rule.
no more splitting.
No, that's stupid. I don't
Okay.
care who you are. If you don't want to split, go find another game.
Go to the end.
Go to
I like
another
that.
game. Go to
I like
another
that. That's cool.
All right, bro, man. I'll talk to you real soon.
All right. Thank you, man.
Hey, thank you for checking out this episode of Fred Talk. If you dug what you saw, make sure you like and subscribe so you never miss another episode. You can also check us out online at fredtalk.tv. Don't forget, your Uncle Freddy loves you. Peace.